Dear students, it's time to wrap it up with developing skills and responding to the text's prompt. Under developing skills, you have the usual, selecting from the text words that are closest in meaning to the following, pronoun reference, and paraphrase paragraph 8. Quick reminder of paraphrase is a restatement. You open with a citation in your own words. You don't delete, nor add ideas. You understand the main ideas the writer is addressing, and you change the sentence structure and provide synonyms whenever possible. Last but not least, you're going to respond to the prompt of the text. Stress is a major component of most people's lives. The handling of stress is where people differ. Do you think the author's 3 pieces of advice in paragraph 11 are sufficient to combat teen stress? If yes, why? If not, why not? So here, students, you're supposed to express your opinion, state your opinion on this issue, whether you're for or against. And this is how you take a stance, stand, or position towards a subject. A reasonable statement of opinion is at the core of an effective persuasive essay. Opinion statements fall into 3 main categories: statements of fact, of value, and of policy. Statements of fact claim that something is true or not. Statements of value claim that something does or does not have worth. Statements of policy claim that something should or shouldn't be done. So your opinion statements should revolve around these 3 elements. If you are to choose any of the 3 suggested statements of opinion, you need to keep in mind that the justification is implied and not stated. And if you want to add a justification, 2 strong arguments that you come to know as 2 controlling ideas, you have that kind of option. Why do we call them strong arguments? Because here you're not just exposing information, but you're saying why or why not you support this idea, you're for it or against it. And this is what should be very evident in both topic sentences that you intend to develop in this persuasive essay. I'm going to give you some examples of 3 statements of opinion: one of fact, one of value, and one of policy. Let's take this issue into consideration. Athletes who take supplemental creatine can train longer and harder than athletes who rely on normal sources of the nutrient. A statement of value: in the long run, creatine really isn't worth the risk to athletes' health. Taking a stance, as you've noticed. Statement of policy: adults responsible for young athletes should forbid the use of creatine. A stance is taken. In other words, here you could either approve of the fact that parents should forbid their children from taking creatine, or you could disapprove of that. So after this review of 3 ways to express or state an opinion, remember you need to justify why you're for or against, regardless of what choice you intend to take, whether that of fact, value, or policy. And this is what you should be opening each body paragraph with, is why you're for or against. Are there other ways you can express an opinion? Certainly, by making a concession. How do we make a concession? By using clauses with although, even though, in spite of. For example, although American food is quick and easy to prepare, it is not as good as Lebanese food because it is not often fresh and lacks nutritious elements. This is a thesis statement, taking a stance, followed by a justification, entailing two controlling ideas that we come in a persuasive essay consider as two strong arguments. Why we think Lebanese food is far better than Americans. Another example, even though plastic surgery improves, if not beautifies, facial and body parts, it is not worth risking your life for it. Here, you can settle for this as a thesis statement and then think or provide reasons why you think it's not worth risking your life for it. Some tips for adding support. You can resort to statistics, predictions, observation, expert testimony, comparison, experience, analysis, and put them in major and minor details. We already discussed in class a mindset to help us distinguish major supporting details from minor ones. You can think for major supporting details, causes and effects, or reasons why or why not you agree or disagree with something. In other words, you can think of different impact, repercussions, positive and negative outcomes, ranging between psychological, social, economical, financial, medical, health risks or repercussions, physical outcomes, environmental, humanitarian, ethical, etc. As for your minor details, you can resort to different types of evidence, such as facts, names, dates, statistics, or you can provide anecdotes, live examples, or you can make your own predictions and logical conclusions in minor supporting details. Personal experience can be a good piece of evidence for a minor detail, drawing an analysis, and so on. After you're done with developing the two body paragraphs, you end it with a conclusion, a restatement of your opinion, and then a concluding sentence where you can either make a strong statement, open horizon, give a future expectation, suggest a piece of advice, a message, your choice. One last reminder, students, be sure to use qualifiers, not quantifiers. Qualifiers are terms that make an opinion easier to support. Note the difference between the following two opinions. Creatine makes athletes stronger, but it won't make them better. Creatine may make athletes stronger, but it doesn't necessarily make them better. Which is the best choice? The second, because everything in life is a matter of perspective. As we said, qualifiers make an opinion easier to support. We do not generalize. There are always exceptions to the rule. To be more convincing, you need to use qualifiers, the likes of almost all, not all. Almost everyone, not everyone. There are always exceptions. Usually, often, maybe, probably, most, many, in most cases, frequently, and so on, but never generalize.